everyone, my name's Kayla.
And my name's Hawa.
And we're here for Tasty Tuesday on Sun Devil Fitness Complex YouTube page. Today we're gonna make sweet potato fajitas. It's a great one-sheet dish that you can make super easy for dinners or lunches or meal prep for the week with some rice.
Yeah, so this dish has sweet potato, which is high in vitamin A and beta carotene, which specifically promotes eye health and also heart health. This also has bell pepper, which is very high in vitamin C, which helps boost immunity too.
We also paired it with a small sour cream crema. Just quick little thing to whip up as a side. You don't have to make that to enjoy this dish. So follow along with us. And here are the ingredients. 2 tablespoons of olive oil,
1 clove of garlic minced,
1 teaspoon kosher salt,
half a teaspoon ground cumin,
half teaspoon smoked paprika,
2 pinches ground cayenne pepper,
1 large sweet potato,
8 to 10 small flour or corn tortillas,
2 medium bell peppers,
1 medium sweet or yellow onion.
Now let's get started. Alrighty, so we're gonna get started. I have about 1 clove worth of minced garlic. You can buy this pre-minced at the store. I'd say about 1 tablespoon would do that, same amount. So I've got that in a small bowl. I'm going to add some olive oil, salt, and my spices. So I've got ground cumin and paprika. If you want it to be a little more spicier, you can add extra spices to that. It's all up to your flavor preference. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then a half a teaspoon of the rest of my seasoning. So I've got ground cumin like I had said, and paprika. All right, and then we're gonna mix it up. And then we're gonna set aside 2 teaspoons of this in our big bowl right here. 1, 2. All right, so I've moved all my ingredients to the side, and now we're gonna focus on our sweet potato, basically one of the main components of this dish. It's packed with vitamin A and B carotene, making its orange color. We find that in carrots as well. You might know carrots as really good for eye health. It's the beta carotene in the carrots. So sweet potatoes would have that same amount of beta carotene and be just as beneficial for your eyes. So what we're just gonna do right now, and I'm gonna kind of cut so that way you don't have to see me struggle with this thing, but we're gonna peel it and cut it, and I'll come back to show you how exactly we're gonna cut it into its shape for the fajitas. All right, so we have our freshly peeled sweet potato. Now I'm actually gonna cut this in half because it's a pretty big sweet potato. Then I'm gonna cut it hot dog style. So now I've cut this in half, and now I'm gonna do hot dog style so that they become thin strips. So now we've got them cut in half, and I'm gonna continue cutting them in half until they are strips, and I'm satisfied with their shape. The smaller the strips are, the quicker they will cook through. All right, so we cut all of our pieces into steak-like fries, right? That's what I equate them in my brain to. And I've added them into that large bowl that I placed 2 tablespoons of that mixture of oil and seasonings and garlic. And I'm just gonna toss them in here to get them fully coated. I remember I still have a little bowl of it separated, so I separated the seasoning mixture, so that will be used later in another portion of our fajitas. So I'm just gonna mix this up, and then we'll pop it out of a sheet pan. Alrighty, so I've got this all coated. It's got a nice little gloss on it. And now I've got aluminum foil lining. You don't have to do this, it just makes for a little easier cleanup. So I'm just gonna spread out my potatoes. Make sure they're all kind of evenly spread out, none of them are on top of each other. There's plenty of space for them to coexist, if you will. Alrighty, now I'm gonna pop this in the oven for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna check it with a fork to see if I feel like they're all the way done. So that might range for you. You should be able to pierce it pretty easily with a fork, and that's when they're done. Alrighty, so we've put the sweet potatoes in for 10 minutes. While we wait for them to cook a little bit before we add our other veggies, I'm gonna start cutting them up and getting them prepped in our mixture. So I've added the rest of that into that big bowl so we have somewhere to mix it all in together. Then we'll put it in all in the oven, cook it all the way off, and hopefully it'll be all done. So while we cut our veggies, I'm gonna welcome the West Wellness Manager, Monica, over to talk about some wellness tips and tricks about sleeping and stress. So come on over.
Hello everybody, I'm Monica with the Wellness Department here at the West Campus. I'm excited to see what you have cooking up here for us today.
So we are nearing midterms right now. I know this week, the week that we're filming right now should have been our spring break, so I know everyone's kind of a little bit hard to find a time for a break when we don't have those scheduled academic breaks. So what are some ways that students can kind of make sure their wellness is a priority during a time where we would have had a nice break from academia?
Definitely. So we're all feeling a little stressed out right now. Schoolwork is going on, people are working, we are trying our best. So some awesome ways to help relieve stress is kind of embracing your creativity side. So for some people, being creative means doing art. That could be drawing or painting. For some people, helping with your stress could be getting outside and doing some physical exercise. You could go on a walk, a bike ride, a hike, literally anything. You can sit outside and meditate, do some yoga. It really is geared towards you and what makes you feel good.
I love that. It's all about, it's the same thing with food and exercise. It's all about what you enjoy and kind of catering it to what you like to do.
Absolutely. Healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle goes hand in hand. So wellness focuses on all of the different areas, whether that be your sleep, whether that be stress, whether that be your finances, or whether that be healthy eating.
All right, so while I'm cutting the onions, I'm gonna have Hawa, one of our other nutrition educators, help me out with these bell peppers so we can get this all done in time to add to our sweet potatoes.
Cooking and chopping can definitely be a good stress reliever too for people. So that's something that goes hand in hand with wellness and healthy eating. A lot of people find joy in chopping onions, chopping peppers, baking, mixing together, making cookies, all of those good things.
Making bread and kneading the dough like it's a stress ball.
Yes.
That's a really good way to cook and relieve some stress.
Plus, I think food that you make yourself always tastes better too, because it's like you're proud of it.
Oh yeah. It could taste terrible and you're like, I made it, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Which is 100% sometimes what happens to me. All right, so Kayla is going to cut her bell peppers in strips to mimic the look of the sweet potatoes that we have. You can, again, cut them any size you want. If you want them more diced, you're more than welcome to. It'll just cut differently. And that won't cut, well, yes, of course it'll cut differently. It'll just cook differently, so you might have to cook it a little bit longer if you use larger pieces.
Do you both have a go time stress relief comfort food?
Ooh.
I think my favorite food, I think it's less of a comfort food and more of like, I need something that's easy if I'm really stressed out. You know, I'm not gonna wanna make a massive meal if I'm just really stressed over school or something like that. So one of my go-to snacks in that sense is popcorn, because it's just quick and easy, very flavorful, and I feel like I get a lot of fiber out of it. But yeah, popcorn's probably just one of my favorite snacks for just when I'm stressed. It also makes me think of movies, and I love movies. I love watching movies when I want to relax. So I think that's why I go for popcorn. What do you think, Carla?
My favorite food is French fries, and I recently invested in an air fryer.
Yes.
And I absolutely love it because I just throw in like fried pieces of potato and whatever seasonings that I'm feeling. Sometimes I like it a little more spicy. Sometimes I like it plain. And I just turn on the air fryer, I go and do my homework or laundry or whatever I need to do, and it's just something I don't really need to think about. I don't need to think about like mixing it or flipping it over or anything like that. So it's very time efficient and it tastes really good to me. Plus I like dipping it with different things. I like barbecue sauce, I like hummus, sometimes ranch. So you can switch it up and it's a good snack.
Can never go wrong with French fries.
Absolutely not.
Do sweet potato fries.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking of when I was cutting them with sweet potato fries. Enjoy your foods guilt-free. Mindful eating is a really cool topic if you're interested in understanding food relationships and really just letting your body tell you what it wants when it wants it. You know, cravings have a reason. There's a rhyme and a reason for a craving, and I know there's the worry of like, let's use Oreos for example. Oreos used to be one of the foods that I didn't allow myself to buy because I felt like I was uncontrollable around them. We've all had that. Even dietitians will agree that before they really understood nutrition and relationships with food, those were most everyone has had this with a food where they just felt uncontrollable and they avoided purchasing or having it in their house. And mine was Oreos. And when I started in my dietetics major and studying and understanding nutrition, I came across mindful eating, and I've heard it before, but never truly understood it, right? And upon hearing about just guilt-free eating, eating what you crave, cravings are there for a reason, understanding your body, listening to your body, I bought Oreos. You know, at some point, I didn't really be like, all right, I learned this, I'm buying Oreos now. No, it was just like, I bought Oreos, remembered what I learned. I was like, okay, I'll just buy Oreos. It's not a big deal. I do not over binge. I don't feel the need to because I'm always allowed to have what my body craves. So when my body craves something, I eat it and it's over and done with. It's easier said than done. It's 100%. It's something you can look to a dietitian for further advice about, as everyone is different. But it's a really interesting topic to delve into in terms of just not putting so much pressure on your body or your mind, and making sure that food isn't a moral issue, right? It's probably one of my favorite quotes sayings is that food shouldn't be a moral issue.
It's the idea that if you give yourself full permission to eat whatever you want, you'll then listen to what you actually want and what your body's craving, what you're feeling like having, rather than thinking about which foods are good and bad and putting certain labels on food, or putting foods off limits, because then you'll think about that food more and want it even more.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
Speaking of eating whatever you want, I'm ready to eat this. So we've completely coated it. You can see kind of the coating on it. It's a little bit of a tint. I'm gonna pull out the sweet potatoes, add this, move it all around so it's not kind of overly discombobulated. We want it all to be relatively spread out. And then we're gonna pop it back in for about 12 to 15 minutes. It's really indicative of how soft our veggies are and how soft the sweet potato fries are. Remember the fork test. Okay, so I just have this on the stove top because it's hot. We just poured out the rest of the ingredients, evenly spread it out. We've got a few pieces that are charring a little bit, but we're gonna pop it back in for about 12 to 15 minutes. Alrighty, so we've pulled out our sheet pan of veggies, and I'm just gonna quickly make a little lime crema. So I'm gonna eyeball it, because I don't need to make that much, but about a cup's worth of sour cream. And this is just a dairy-free alternative sour cream. You can obviously use regular sour cream if you would like. I cannot have dairy. It upsets my tummy. And so that is why I'm using a dairy-free alternative. But you can make the same recipe with dairy. I'm also gonna put a little bit of lime juice. And if you have a zester or a way to zest limes, you would also wanna add lime zest, which is just the thin outer layer of the lime, okay?
Dang.
All right, so for the sour cream, we have just added some sour cream, a little bit of lime juice, lime zest if you're able to zest, and a little bit of salt. Mixed it all together, and now that is our topping. You can also use salsa, guacamole, avocado. Yeah, absolutely. Just plain avocado is perfect too. Alrighty, and then you just want to make sure to have your tortillas, and you've got your sweet potato fajitas. So we just picked little ones. They're white corn tortillas. You can use flour, whichever ones you prefer to buy. Alrighty guys, so we just finished our sweet potato fajitas. They look great, a little bit crispy, but hey, that's how I like it. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Monica, for joining us, teaching us about stress and how to manage it as students, specifically in a very high stress point in our lives. Especially if you're cooking along with me, you might be stressed out too. I get stressed out during cooking. Anyone else? Anyone else? No, just me? Okay, great. But yes, thank you again, Monica, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and I have had a lot of fun watching you cook and being able to experience this with you. So I hope some of you like to take some of that stress out by cooking, and you learned something today, and you can try it at home for your own self.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't be me and get stressed out during cooking. Pick something that's a little easier, a little more fun. I mean, this is quite easy. I just, when you have a camera following you around, you stress out, and it's okay. It is okay to be stressed. It's how you cope with the stress. And I cope through having Monica here telling me how to cope. Thank you again for joining us today on Tasty Tuesday. We're here bi-weekly, and we hope you come and see us again soon. Bye.
Bye.